Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap. Welcome to the trap.
Let's go. Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Zen.
Trap.
Protect.
Yo, peace.
Protect your energy. Seen any good movies lately?
I have seen a good movie lately.
Really? Tell me about it.
All right, cool. I'll tell you about it. So family, they decide to move to a new city. Dad gets a new job, right?
Okay.
So they move to this new city, and there's a little girl, and she's just kind of lost in the community. She don't really know nobody around, and so she finally kind of finds a group of friends. One boy in particular that I think she kind of connects with. They kind of grow up, go through high school together, all that kind of stuff. I think she starts to realize that his path just seems a little bit easier than hers for some reason. Like, they do the same stuff, they like the same activities, but it just seems like his path just seems to pan out for some reason. And she's always kind of feeling like, dang, it's like that's probably one of the first movies where you see like
Sexism.
men, yeah, like sexism. Like, men just
at its
how
best.
how you just get ahead faster than me, and it's just not fair. So they matriculate through life, and they end up going to the same college and kind of connecting there as well. And then he kind of decides to do his own thing, and she does her own thing, and so they kind of go their separate ways. And she has some family issues she's trying to work through. She's just a little bit different than her family. Always was and always kind of will be. And so she...
Just a standout in the family.
Just a standout. But
like,
she
we all like this stuff, but
she just has this passion for life, and the things that she enjoys that she just goes after. And so she doesn't fold to anybody for anything. But
standing on business.
at some point in her life, she realizes that love is important. And she hasn't been really nurturing the connection with her friend that she grew up with, that she knew like there's something here, and she didn't really nurture that connection. She kind of almost like made it a competition between them, and it really was never that.
It was never really a sport.
Exactly, right? He wanted love too, but she kind of just was always like trying to be in kind of like
tough.
compete. Yeah, you know what I'm
Hate
saying?
that.
So I think ultimately towards the end of the movie, you see them kind of connect and actually nurture that connection of like love and all that stuff. So
That sounds like a great movie,
it is a good
man.
movie. What,
Wow.
you want to take a guess at what movie that is?
If I had to say a guess, this definitely sounds like Love and Basketball.
It's definitely Love and Basketball. Good job. Good job. Did I give it away, or that was pretty good?
I thought about Love and Basketball before, honestly. Before we started, I was like, yeah, but it's just so hard. It's hard not to give that away.
exactly.
Like, it's just
It's
a
hard.
great timeless classic, and it used to be my favorite movie. So black
Absolutely.
folks ruined it,
Hey,
complaining about the plot.
What did they say?
Everybody kind of, it was been one of those social media trends where they go back and say how some movie you thought was good, and you go back and look at the plot and be like, oh, that's trash. And they talking about like the love story, love and basketball is like trash.
I think it's a good love story. I related it a lot, especially when I was younger. I liked to play basketball. I was the only girl typically
You
playing.
relate to the basketball part, the love story too?
I mean, not necessarily
You
that
had a
love
girl
story.
hooping and stuff, y'all went to college together. Did daddy play for the Clippers? And then the All-State commercials.
Facts.
All right, well, welcome back for another ZTC, a Zen Trap Chat.
For sure.
I'm one of your two hosts, Zen P.
Yogi LG.
We got a new month, man. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, because if you didn't know, the mission here at the Zen Trap Podcast is to inspire and empower listeners to continuously seek internal peace to maximize their personal potential.
Come on.
We got a great month for you. It's June. It's Gemini season.
Come on now.
We got lots of things. We celebrating community and friends. So the topic for the month is community, friends,
Connection.
social connection, all
All
things
that,
around
yeah.
community and connection.
Absolutely.
How to nurture connection, how to make connection, the importance of community, the importance of friendship. So we're gonna get right into it.
All right, I got a question off the ripper.
Off the ripper.
Off the ripper. What do you feel like the difference in community and connection is? And just so you know, I happened to look it up, so I don't want to share mine first.
Oh, good.
So,
I have not looked that up, but off the top of my head, community can be where you come from. And just like we talked about in love and basketball, you can be born into a community that you feel no real ties or relation to. But community kind of just like family usually is always there to hold you down. But it usually comes with some terms usually. As long as you are abiding by the almost bylaws of said community, you are treated with such. But if you cannot agree to kind of follow what we establish as our community bylaws and stuff, then you may be alienated and outlawed, and you can choose to leave out. Connection can happen inside of community, can happen outside of community, can happen just with two people, a group of people. Connection is just that vibe, that energy and stuff. So
I got
that's what I think the difference is. So I can have connection with a stranger, and I cannot have connection with community I've been in my whole life.
Wow. Powerful. I'm just going to read the definition just so we know. Connection is about creating contacts, introductions, and links, whereas community is about creating spaces of belonging and enables relationships. That belonging that enable relational depth to grow. So let me read that one more time. Whereas community is about creating spaces of belonging that enable relational depth to grow.
How you feel about that?
I kind of agree with that, but I also kind of agree with you. Like growing up, you kind of like develop a community naturally by your physical community, right? And so that kind of becomes your tribe. When you grow up on the block with certain people, or like this becomes my community, and that does enable you to have like these relationships that grow into something like way bigger. Just even our college community, like us in Trevor office or us in our major, right? We created this community, and those relationships got deeper and deeper as we grew through life. So I believe that connection is like that, but community, I kind of agree with you more. Like it kind of starts more so as a physical thing, but as you get older, it kind of is about like those who will uplift you and uphold you no matter what. So
I agree. And you can have different tribes and communities inside a community. So it's friends inside of friend groups.
But I mean, I guess they're right. Connection is about those links and contacts and individual relationships more so. And you could be connected with someone who's not necessarily in your community.
Agreed.
You're very connected to that person.
What was I going to say about community? How important is community to you?
Oh man, important. I'm gonna say this: community used to be a lot more important than it is now. I think, I recognize that like I've kind of like had these communities that are like ongoing. Well, I would say like childhood friendships, college friendships. And then when you kind of start going off into different states and moving and traveling, community kind of gets different. It's about this network of people that you've built. So it's important to me, but it's not important to me, for example, to like find a new community everywhere I move.
Right, because you've established so many throughout your life, you now are not necessarily in search of a community at a time.
Exactly.
I have established communities.
Right,
Okay,
and
so
they may not be physically
not
near
as
me.
important as it was when you were younger.
Exactly.
Nice.
Community is definitely important, but just I kind of already have one, so like seeking one isn't as important.
So it's still important in the sense that nurturing the communities that you do have.
Oh, yeah.
So because you've established those communities, so community still is a important thing.
It's an important thing to me. It's
Yes,
just
in general.
it's
It's not something you seek. Right
Correct.
now. You're in the nurture state.
correct. What about you? How important is community to you?
Community is very important to me. I think how I was raised, I always say I was raised definitely overly loved. I got all the love I needed from my mother and my community, my environment. Community is very important, especially with me coming from small towns and stuff. Community is what keeps you going together, especially if you're struggling. Not saying I was struggling per se, but if other people in our community are struggling, that's kind of all we have is community to rely on and help each other. Mm-hmm. So they definitely instill and stress the importance of how community can upbring you. And don't forget about your past when you're going through your future and stuff. They just instill all these sayings in you. And it's just about just moving the generation forward. Like my mom definitely exposed me and my brother to things that she may not and still may never experience. She's never left the country before. And now I've been able to travel all these different places. And it's really, again, up to my community who's allowed me to be able to do, allow me those things. Things that she wasn't able to do to, like, drive around and see different places. She would take us, expose us to different stuff so that we can do that. So community is essential, especially when we always talk about product of your environment.
Yeah.
The community, the people, I guess, and even another big quote, because I know I'm feeling like I'm rambling a little bit. One of the biggest things before you go to college or in life in general that people that are wise or older kind of relay down to the next generation, who you choose as your friends is one of the most important decisions, besides making your family and stuff. But the people you keep around you, you are a product of the people you keep around you. It's hard to get that when you're younger. Like,
Ooh, it's so hard.
It's hard.
It's so hard.
It's hard. No, I want to hang with the cool people or this person or this person. It's hard to be like, yeah, I know you say you don't smoke, you don't do this activity, you don't do that, but you are subconsciously influenced by the things around you. So it can just eat away at you. Now, if you don't have people who are doing things that align with your morals and values or where you're trying to go in life, then it could take you longer to get to where you're trying to go just because of the friendships you choose. So community is essential. Yeah,
I would say even like when I started building my community in high school, I found that like a small fact around the people that I hung with, most of their parents was older. So similar to my parents. So we had like this old school type of raising or upbringing. I also found that I didn't want to get in trouble because I knew it was like, it meant something when I went home. Yeah. And so I had to hang around kids that where it meant something if they got in trouble. Because I had
we got some on the line too.
Yeah, some other friends like, I get in trouble. I don't care. My mom ain't gonna do that. And I was like, oh no, I can't hang with you because you don't got no ain't no repercussions.
How you feel about that? And when I was little, I didn't necessarily like it. I think I understood it at the time for what it was, but it still would be difficult sometimes just seeing other kids who just seem just adulting already. And during that time, I wouldn't say I necessarily envied it, but I was definitely maybe jealous, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you wanted to have a cool parent.
Just go out. Well, not even my parent being cool, just allowing me to just kind of do
stuff,
whatever I want. But I understand now that instills discipline in you. That instills responsibility at a young age. But when you that young, you just like, I don't hear.
So I just had like a couple people friends like they mama didn't care what time.
Going to the club.
Yeah, they went to all the little teen clubs. They got to go out and stay out late. They could go to every event, every basketball game, every movie, link up, everything. And I was like, dang, my mama got to be like this. So of course you like long for that, but I realized like once I built a community, my community was kind of on the same wave. Like, oh yeah, we can't go to the parties. Like, we can't go to that party. We can go to this party. We can't go to that party. And my mama was like, yeah, you can go to this party, not that. Okay, so we all doing the same stuff because our parents allowing the same thing.
Right.
So I found that like was a random thing about, I guess, my community. Maybe not random, but a thing about my community in high school for sure.
Let's kind of transition into friends a little bit and how that relates to community. I think, and just want to open up the discussion about different types of friendships you have from communities and stuff. So just like you talked about in the beginning, you have some friendships who are built through just experience. You go through something together, so you are friends because of that. So because we come from the same place and we went to elementary school all the way to high school together, we may never really even talk like that. But when we see each other, we always have a bond because of experiences that we go together. And then you got friends that you actually like choose as you're becoming someone, like becoming more into who you want to be or are. What are some of the different friendships you have and how they were formed throughout communities and stuff?
Yeah, I think ultimately like what's consistent with me is like commonality and goals and how you move, morals, character, values, all that kind of stuff. So I think that as I like built friendships when I was younger, I was still learning like people's character and how to judge people and stuff like that. So your friend group is a little bit bigger than. As you get older, it starts kind of narrow in, and you like, I don't call all these people friends because they don't got the same kind of morals and values. But I think ultimately, like, connection became a big part of my life in developing friendships because when I started moving, I realized I don't have community. I at least need to connect. And so I think friendships allow me to kind of build connection. And then if that connection like blossomed into something, I could see that starting to build a community. Like I had a friend I met in Kentucky. Like, okay, this is my friend. I'm just friends with her. But then she introduced me to her friends. And like, okay, I got similarities with these people. Next thing you know, you start building on these connections and it becomes community. So I think friendship and finding friends can be a more difficult task when you're older.
Yeah,
just because you become more like specific rigid about who you letting in your space. But I think when you're younger, it's just kind of like a free for all. Like
it's a little easier as well. Yeah. And just like you said, I think me as well. going to college helps you make a lot of friends immediately. And it's that of, oh, I got a friend who I'm kind of close with, a connection with. We go meet some of their friends, or I have another group of friends, and then they bring a friend, and now you have a small group, and you get to keep kind of changing people out until you get that nice mix. Like, yeah, he always come around, but you can kind of tell he ain't.
But
he ain't really
his other friend, they cool.
Yeah.
I like them.
So it's nice to even mix and match with friends too.
Absolutely.
Would you say you're able to have friends who you don't have strong morals and values with, similar to? Are you able to have friendships with people like that still, or is it just more of a connection still, or like are you able? And well, I guess not able. Do you have friends whose morals and values don't kind of align with yours, but you're still friends?
Not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. I mean, that's a personal decision.
Yeah, that's a personal decision. It's also because like I'm very giving and like free spirited in that sense. I don't protect my stuff. You come to my house, I'm not putting nothing away. Like I expect all my friends not to be thieves. I expect all of my friends to respect me. Like so, once you start like. If I want to live my life that way, I got to be careful about who I bring around. So it's not a lot of people who don't move similar to me. Now, yeah, do all my friends got some stuff that they do that I wouldn't do? Yeah, of course. Like they their own.
But for the most part, it's like majority of our morals and values kind of align.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's never really questions about that. Yeah. I agree, kind of similar. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot of friends off the top of my head who morals and values drastically differ.
Matter of fact, I will say this: like because you still learn people and people growing and people still evolving, right? If I see something in a friend like that I don't necessarily like vibe with, I will start to draw away. Like I can have a conversation with them or not. Either way, I will start to kind of like, as you get older, your circle just gets small. Like you got to start weeding shit out. And so if I see somebody move in a way, especially consistently, that I don't like, I can have a conversation with them about it. But I can also just like move differently. And
the moving differently, just as you're getting older, doesn't have to necessarily even mean I saw something in you. You just life starts lifing. You now have more responsibilities. You now are becoming more of an adult. Yeah. You have other things to focus on, so you almost don't have as much time to give and nurture into some of those relationships. So just naturally, even then as well, it starts weeding. That's not even weeding the people out, but you just don't have as much time to connect as like you used to keep nurturing it as well.
Absolutely. All right, so like, how did you just establish like community? What do you, as an adult, like after college, how did you establish community? Because you traveled a lot right after college, right?
Yeah, I traveled a lot. I was in a rotational program where I was moving every 6 months. I had to do 3 rotations. 6 months, I would stay in one city or state and move to a completely different place. So first month or first 2 months, I'm there just trying to get a lay of the land. So you have a community of people that you work with. Mm-hmm. You have a community of like other people who have just moved here as well. So you kind of naturally get with them, try and see the city, figure out who I can be cool with. We can really get into real deep dive into this of us being black people in a white corporate America kind of world too, of trying
community is hard.
It's hard to figure out. I don't want to make it sound like this, but who's your type of black? Who's your type of person? I ain't gonna call them a black, but because they ain't necessarily got to be black, but
naturally you connect. Like when you see somebody who look like you, we kind of all be like, oh, all right. Somebody, I at least want to talk to you.
Yeah, make sure you're good.
Make sure to just see how you.
We had one of those conversations overseas one time. I don't know if you were in it. This might have been in Greece or somewhere else. Which black people are universal. Mm-hmm. We get into a cab and it's myself and let's say it's 3 or 4 other raced people, not even white, like other nationality, different. And the person driving the Uber or Lyft is a black man. He could be African, French, whatever. I don't even know what. Yeah. So I'm speaking to him and I'm just like, hey, you good? And all of this and stuff. And the people in the car kind of question like, why are you asking him these questions and doing this? And he even kind of answered for us. We both just, well, it's a black thing just to make sure, like, hey, are you okay emotionally? Do you feel safe? Like, I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, you got something go down, backup.
We can kind of look for each other.
That's community, right?
Yeah, that's community on a larger scale, and that's just been passed down to us. But back to your original question of when I'm going to places, how I look for certain things. I like to, and I don't know the quote verbatim, but if I had to give a piece of advice to anybody looking for friends, you need to try and be your natural self to make sure you are finding people who connect with your natural self. Absolutely. If you're out here being ingenuine, inauthentic, or just doing things to go with the flow or fit into the crowd, you can find yourself making connections and communities and crowds with people who you don't even really necessarily like. And
they're not gonna last.
They could last, but it's something's gonna bubble up. You're gonna be upset, and you're not gonna feel comfortable in those communities. You're not gonna be having conversations that you want to have, and it really all is gonna go back and start with you. If you want something to start, you need to look for it in yourself first. So, being authentic to yourself. So if you have activities you like, I like sports, basketball. That's an easy way for me to find friends. I can go to an outside park, go play. Maybe some people there playing basketball. We can connect over that. I can go to a gym that has a basketball court. I can go lift weights. I love to eat food. That's an easy conversation starter for me. So when I start a job and they're going around doing the old introduction thing and people asking where you're from and stuff, my first major question is like, all right, who's kind of lived here? I ask every single person.
What's your favorite restaurant?
What's your favorite restaurants here? And and you know they want to be like, oh, what kind of food you looking for? Top tier? It's open ended. I want to know what your favorite restaurant is.
And you can find I always find connection points in those things. And exactly. I think it's important that I ask people questions and then I see what they get excited about. I was at a customer the other day and I say something about, oh man, there's some shoes dropping. I'm trying to get him.
And that's fishing, a little
bit. Yeah. And somebody bites. This dude is I know about shoe releases. I spent plenty of days outside waiting on shoe releases. Oh, what kind of shoes are you into? Oh, I got mainly retro Jordans. He shows me his whole look. I'm talking about a dude you would have never thought.
And I can hear that and be like, I'm out.
Right. But it's all about kind of what you are drawn to or what you connect with. And so I think asking questions like that, when you meet people I know when I ask the restaurant question, if I see somebody get excited, I'd be like, okay, that's my kind of person.
And I'm fat. I'm more so focused on the food, not the person. So I go around and ask at least probably 6 different people in the restaurants that everybody has said, that's where I'm hitting first. Because it must be good. It's consistent. Yeah. But it starts with knowing yourself. Mm-hmm. Everything kind of always goes back to self-awareness a little bit to me. Really get to know what you like. You like pottery or some random activity. Go do some random activities or something. Go to a yoga class, exercise class. And you have to put yourself out there a little bit. Go out there and just say hello. Are you from here? Just asking a couple questions. You're gonna get shot down a little bit. Some people you're gonna find, and everything doesn't have to be some long-lasting friendship. It could be something temporarily just for the moment. Hey, we both are here. You want to go do an activity? I
got a question in general. I think you got a lot of people who choose to be more, ambiverts or introverts, either one of those, and find that I like to spend time by myself. So when I come into a new environment, I don't even be trying to talk to people, none of that. I just be quiet. I'm just cool. How important do you think connection is in general, on a daily basis to connect, or even on some, not necessarily daily, but some consistent basis to actually interact and connect?
I think it's important to the level that you need. So I am an ambivert. I can flutter between both. If I'm around a lot of extroverted people or a lot of people in general, I definitely need time to recharge. I love my alone time. I love time to sit and ponder with things, self-audit, shadow work, or whatever terms are. But to have friends and maintain friends, you need to nurture it. Now, what that scale or rhythm is depending on the people you with. I'm sure when you're around a lot of introverted people, they may not need you to check up on them once every 3 days or once a week. Once a month, once every 3 months could be good with them, and they feel truly connected to you. Right. But that's knowing your personnel and knowing yourself as well, what type of friends you make. But I think it's just, to answer your question, important to again, it starts with knowing yourself and knowing what type of relationship you want. Somebody could be demanding that from you, and you can just be, hey, I'm not either in a place, or that's just not me at all. If you think that's me, that I want to talk on the phone every day,
got the wrong one.
It's not me. And I'm okay with not being your friend that talks to you on the phone every day, but when you need, so I think it starts again with knowing yourself and knowing what you want to maintain. Now you have to be honest with yourself on what you maintain too, because if you're putting yourself out there and you're just dying on the phone every day, now your energy's getting drained through that. You could be draining some other connection because you're trying to maintain this. So you really just have to, again, know yourself. What do you think?
I think human connection is very important. I think it's part of the reason we were put on this earth. I think we're connected to nature and each other in many different ways, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all those type of things. So I think it's cool when people. I need time to recharge all the time, like absolutely. And I would say I'm an extrovert.
And some people don't. They get their energy from others.
Yeah,
Those are the
but I
strong
know.
extroverts.
Yeah, I know I'm an introvert in a way that if people are around me, I do get more energy.
Of course.
But there are times where I do need to like, okay, I got to reset. Most of the time, it's a physical thing. My physical body needs rest, right? Mm-hmm. But from an emotional space, I could be around people like.
No, my emotional space gets drained sometimes.
Faster.
And again, it's dependent on the personnel too. If I have other people who are maybe similar ambiverts around, we can kind of tap in, and that's like a vibe type thing where it's like, oh, we vibing right now, and then it's like, oh, we all can just get on our phones, chill for a little bit, do a break, come back. So it depends on the people too. Some people are energy vampires. Energy drainers, whatever the term you want to use, Debbie Downers, come into a room and you can just feel it, like.
So I think ultimately, like, if you don't have connection, it may be a part of your life that you're missing, and I would encourage you to tap in some way to start building connections. And maybe you don't build maybe community isn't huge for you, but at least connecting with someone, feeling love, feeling emotions, it helps. To me, it makes me feel I'm alive. And I know that's a broad statement, but I feel me being a human. Like, I get sad moments, I get happy moments, and those are kind of mostly built off connection with other people. And so I would encourage you, if you don't have connections, to start building them.
For sure. So I think we talked a lot about how important community is, how different ways you can have conversations to find community, start community, different activities and stuff. Let's talk about nurturing the friends that you do have. Let's say you've had these friends for a long time and you still feel that you don't notice people. For example, me and Lindsayana have known each other 14 years. I don't know, 10 plus years. Let's not do the math. 10 plus years. I know a lot about all my friends usually, but it's because we care to know that much about each other. And these are some techniques you can use with anybody in your family, any close one that you think you know everything about. I never will think, because we are all ever growing people, I will never know everything about Lindsay, and I don't strive to know everything about Lindsay. Right. But I do strive to get as much as I can. Yeah. Different games you can play with your friends. We talked about the emotional wheel game. Pick a word on the wheel. Tell me about a time that you felt regret or something. Yeah. You can learn and connect through that. And you'd be surprised how much people truly want to talk about themselves and share those things once they get into it. But the best game I love is just broadly, tell me something I don't know about you. Yep. That's the easiest way. If you have a friendship or a person in your life, I challenge you or implore you, go and ask them, hey man, tell me something I don't know about you. I promise their first thing is gonna be like, what? You know so much. So if you need to give them prompts? So okay, well I can give you a prompt to be more specific. Tell me about a time when you were in your childhood, roughly from 0 to 10, or tell me about a time in middle school. Tell me. Yeah. So sometimes you can give them prompts to help them out.
What was your hardest day in middle school? What was your best day in middle school?
What was your best year in life?
Yeah. What was your best year in life? That's a good question.
So what was your best year in life? What was the most fun you've had that you can remember? What was your most fun day that you can remember? Your most fun day. These are also self-awareness questions you can ask yourself first. Mm-hmm. Ask yourself these times in journal. I think we talked about that in a past episode where you'd be like trying to figure out things you like. If you don't feel like you know yourself, all right, let me think about a time when I was happy. What was I feeling? Who was there? What was the environment, the things that were happening, so that I know what things kind of make me happy. So let's talk about things that you can do with friends to get to know them better. What would you recommend?
I mean, I definitely think asking them questions. I'm a big quality time person. So recognizing how your friends receive love, or the people around you receive love or connection. What do they enjoy? And seeing if that aligns with you. So if I find a friend that enjoys quality time, I may just hit their friend like, hey, I'm around the corner. I'm going to just come kick it with you. Like, we can sit on the couch and do nothing, but that allows me to love you in your love language, spend quality time with you. If I know I got somebody that likes words of affirmation, I may say like, hey, I'm going to just call you up and give you gas on Fridays. Like, I'm going to hit you on Fridays.
Sending you a nice letter.
Send them a text.
The way you speaking about it too, friendships are relationships.
Absolutely.
You are treating it like a relationship. I think what you just described beautifully is the platinum rule. The golden rule is treat others how you want to be treated. The platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated.
Yep.
So you are finding out what they like, what their interests are, and trying to share that with them. And usually if you are somewhat of a good friend, you kind of already know these things and you can use that to your
I got a question. What makes a good friend?
What makes a good friend? A good friend for me, what makes a good friend? A good friend for me is someone who takes the time to get to know me, that doesn't interfere with their morals and values as well, and trying to get to know me. A good friend is someone who can show up for me in the ways that I need them to show up for me, and that they are capable of showing up for me. That's really it for me. I'm not a really demanding friend. I feel like I like for people to be authentic to themselves and kind of can give what they can give, because I expect me to be able to do the same. What makes a good friend for you?
I'm gonna give an analogy here, maybe a little deeper than I need to go. But I imagine life as a journey, like a path. Like I'm walking down a path, and friends are people that come into your path, and sometimes they split out and come back in, or sometimes they walk with you for a long way. But ultimately, these are people that are walking with me through life, and I want to progress them down the path, and they're trying to progress me down the path. And we're okay if our paths split and go different ways, or, hey, I'm gonna run on this side of the track, you can run on that side of the track. We still going in the same direction. Hey, I'm going to check in on you. You still going good? Yeah, I'm still doing good. You all right? Yeah. So I look at it as somebody who is there for me in the ways that I need them. And I'm also there for them in the ways that they need me. And it doesn't, I got friends I talk to almost every day, and I got friends I don't talk to but like 2 or 3 times a year. And either way, I see them on their path, I recognize them on their path, I support them on their path, and I feel like they do the same for me. So yeah, there are small things that go into being a good friend, consistency, fairness. I ain't gonna say fairness, but kind of
take the fairness out.
Not fairness, but
this is a relationship.
Equality, I guess, in the sense of like consideration. Many different words that you can use to describe a good friend. But I think ultimately, like, if you're looking at life as that journey, them walking down that path with you in a way and assisting you and making sure that you're always going in a positive direction and not going back. That's to me is someone I would call a friend and that I've connected with.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful definition. One last thing that I did remember, we talked about it before too, that you can do with a loved one or a friend. Tell me your life story in
2 minutes.
You ain't got to put a time on it, really, if you ain't rushing. Tell me your life story. You can get into some good stuff. Good, deep conversation.
Yeah.
We can kind of use this as the last question, and then we'll go into the other stuff. What is one of the most important qualities of a friend for you? If you're trying to be friends with Lindsay, what's one of the most important qualities?
I'm going to steal your word. I know I'm going to steal your word. Consideration. I knew it. I knew it. But
I think that is just such a beautiful, broad stroking word. Yeah. I just need you to be considerate of yourself, really most of others, which the people who are, I ain't going to call them selfish, but some people can just
naturally consider themselves more than
protect
others.
your peace, protect your energy. I'm going to be myself. I need to consider I got to worry about me, Lucius. I got to put myself first. Some people are just like that. But I like people who are considerate of everybody else and puts the community first. Like, let's put the vibe first, and hopefully your vibe can increase inside of that. Not like your vibe isn't important, but who can put the vibe first? And that's your top quality?
Consideration is a big deal for me just because I'm very considerate.
And so
I think reciprocating energy is also a thing. Like, if you expect something from me, and I give that to you and you can't reciprocate that energy, to me, that's a consideration thing. You're not considering me like I considered you. So I think, again, fairness is not a thing. Like, it's not always going to be fair, but just making sure that you consider that person. Again, on my journey, when I need help, you there for me. And I'm going to be there for you when you need help. And that's a consideration thing for me as well. So,
and consideration can be little things. We're not saying it's always deep stuff. Consideration could be, oh, man, I know it's always cold in this house, but they are cold people, so I come over with a sweatshirt instead of just making them like, hey, can you cut the heat up, blah, blah, blah.
I come over prepared. I'm considerate how you like your house.
I don't just sit around and it's little things that you can be considerate about. Or I know that this person don't eat a certain thing, so I make sure on the menu that that's consideration. Just little things like that. Definitely your top qualities. Be the friend you want to be.
All right, so I want to jump into The kick of the week
with Yogi LG.
All right, I got some. These are the ATL Air Force Ones. These dropped last 404 days, so not this past April 4th, but last year April 4th. Nike dropped these. Love these. They got a little ATL in the middle, like in the sole. Little ATL on the side.
Check over here, a little glimmer.
Yeah, this is like a little patent leather thing. It's suede up top. Love these. Just a classic look. Love it. Love it. Love the kicks.
Beautiful. And that was the kick of the week
with Yogi LG.
So you know we got a Zen Thought of the Week with Zen P.
Come on now. Talk to him, P.
All right. So I'm going to give you a couple of quotes out here. Topic of the month is community, friendship, nurturing. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with my girl, Big O, Oprah.
Okay, Big O.
Lots of people want to ride with you in a limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down. And that's from Big O, Oprah.
Big O.
Let's see. A friend can tell you things you don't want to tell yourself. That's Francis Ward Weller.
Nice.
True friends aren't the ones who make your problems disappear. They're the ones who won't disappear when you're facing problems.
Whew. That's tough. That's good.
Right. I got one from your girl,
Brittany.
I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance and strength from the relationship.
Yep.
And that is Brene Brown.
That's my girl. It speaks to me every time.
And I'm going to end you out with... We expect more from technology and less from each other. We create technology to provide the illusion of companionship without the demands of friendship.
Ooh.
Sherry Turkle.
That's
facts. Zen Thought of the Week with Zen P.
I like it, man. Way to talk to him, P.
I still need a little tagline, so we're going to figure something out. Zen B? I don't know. I got to find something out. I want it to be authentic, so I'm not going to force it.
Don't force it.
It'll come.
There you go.
You got any last words for the topic? Anything you're excited about?
I think just learning more about connection. I think if I can be a better friend, I want to do that. Like, to the people that
There's no way. You need to be a bad friend. This is your bad friend there. You need to be bad girl Riri.
Ultimately, like if I can encourage my community, build my community, and nurture my connections, I want to be able to do that. I'm excited about learning. I'm gonna just be honest, learning that like I want to get some validation out of this month. Like, all right, Lindsay, you are good. I know I'm a good friend, but I would love to hear more about.
You are an amazing friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You are top-pist of tiers.
Thank you.
Highest of qualities. Michelin-esque.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any last words for you?
Yeah, just still going with you. You know what I want to do? I want to leave a piece of me in everything I touch. That's what I want to do.
I
want to be impactful out here.
Yeah.
I want to be intentional.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm nurturing my friendships. I want to make sure what I'm giving, I can reciprocate what I expect from my friendships. I want to be authentic to myself and not disrespectful or not aligned with my morals and values inside of my friendships. I don't want to have to, what's the word? Not negotiate. I don't want to have to, do you know the word I'm trying to say? Not compromise. Either way, I don't want to have to do anything that goes against my morals and values to support some friendships. Yeah, I don't want to be compromising with that. Okay. The biggest thing that I've said, and I want to, again, keep going because I know some of my friends out there may struggle with this because you've had these long friendships and you feel like you don't have a strong connection in this friendship. The connection is built not on no sustenance or substance. They're built on experiences. So you may have been childhood friends. So now you're friends for 20 years, but you've both grown as people and you no longer are connecting like you used to. To reconnect and nurtures that, you may be thinking it relies on them and it's all on them. You're waiting for them. You're complaining about them. It's on you as well. You can come through and do some of these activities to feel how can we either nurture it Or how can we split our paths and maybe come back again? And find, it's okay to have different friends, different pockets of friends for different things. Yogi LG talks about it all the time. It's okay to say, hey, I now gotten to a certain point where I need some other friends over here. I'm now do crochet.
Yeah.
I'm now into plays. I'm now into whatever. It's okay to find new friends. That's what I want to leave you with. And to do these activities. And guess what it all starts with? It all starts with you. Learning yourself.
Yep, absolutely.
Make sure you subscribe. We got new merch.
Check it out.
Please go check it out. Go on the website. Go get you some,
Zentrap Panda.
Subscribe if you have not.
For sure.
We love this hobby that we're doing. We trying to make some money now. Subscribe. The only way we can end up making money is if you subscribe. Subscribe, please.
All right, this has been another Zentrap chat. I'm one of your two hosts, Yogi LG.
Zen P, and if you can't do nothing else, make sure you protect your peace
and protect your energy.
It's the Zentrap.
We out.
Great month for you. Welcome to the trap.